I was living with my parents from birth to age 24. And before I even met my husband, when I was like 16, I already kept a like emergency bag in my room because my parents constantly threatened to kick me out and pull support from me anytime I stuck up for myself or just set boundaries. And I just I knew that it was a toxic situation, and I knew that if I ever wanted to really leave or do anything outside of them, it would cause a lot of friction. And when oh man, I gotta tell that story. There's so many stories. I know, like, I grew up in like a really bad situation, but like some of it was funny. And some of it, like, when I think about it, it makes me laugh. But I had already caused friction a little bit before my husband and I met because I changed my schedule. I'm sorry. Okay, okay. I changed. My dad wanted me to. Oh man, this is gold. My dad wanted me to take the night shift of the schedule at my school, and I wanted to do the morning shift, and he wanted me to only do night shift because he wanted to take me to school, and I already didn't want to be around my dad because I was uncomfortable because I remember he molested me, and I was trying to be self sufficient as well as I knew that like I really am not good at night. Like if I had to do night shift at work or like school, I would not be good. No, no, actually he wanted me to do morning shift and I wanted to do night. And I knew that if I did morning, I would probably be late cuz he never respected my time. And if I needed to be somewhere like at a specific time, he would always make me late and he wouldn't respect if I wanted to be there early. So I knew that if I did morning, I would one have to wake up 2 hours before time to be able to be like um awake because I still had DID at that time, and I knew that I wouldn't. He just wouldn't get me on there on time, and I wouldn't be awake. And I knew I needed to be there at night, so I changed my schedule to night shift. And he called me Judas. I was in church. I was in church. And I remember I just told my dad that I was gonna do the night shift and we were in church. And the pastor was talking about Judas and then he looked over at me, he was like, uh-huh, Judas, uh-huh. And I was like, did this man just call me Judas in church? And then I was trying to pay attention to church, so I just ignored him, went back to watching the sermon, like paying attention. And then I went home and I was like, "Hey, did you call me Judas in church?" And he was like, "Yes, I called you Judas in church." And I was like, "Why would you call me Judas?" And he said that it was because I changed my schedule from morning to night. And at that time, I was so mad because I was like, you literally are all like, you're a child predator, you're creepy. And I'm like, how can you really call me Judas because I changed my schedule tonight? I was like, but at the time I was so mad because again, I had extreme anger like back then too. So I got mad and I told him off. I was like, "How?" I was like, "Do you think you're Jesus Christ that I can't change my schedule and you call me Judas in church? Like, are you serious?" And he just was like, "Mhm. Yeah." And at that time, I don't do this, but I kicked a table and I started pushing stuff off the table because I was gonna throw a table at him. Don't do that. But yeah, at that time I took it not good. I was so mad, and I was gonna throw a table at him, and I think I cursed him out because I did curse a lot back then too. I probably did. I called him a lot of bad words, and I had favorites at that time. Actually, well, we're not gonna get into that. But the crazy thing is, I actually got into cursing because my dad said that he didn't like women that cursed, and I started cursing because I was like, if I curse, maybe he'll like not like me. But yeah. So that's how I ended up um defying my parents, and he called me Judas. I'm sorry. Excuse me. And so yeah, a little bit after that, I graduated from a technical college, right? Bad school. Um, gave me student loans I did not ask for. Just absolutely terrible school. And that's fraud. But uh so I ended up meeting my husband at school, and he started taking me I started paying him to give me rides to school cuz I was like I trust him and he's not creepy. And I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay. So, and he doesn't think I'm Judas. Sorry. Okay, I'm so serious. I gotta calm down so I can tell the story. But during the time me and my husband met, my dad was becoming, well, before that, the year before, so when I was like 23, we were at church, and it was New Year's, and he looked over, like the pastor was like, "Hey, tell your neighbor you love him and tell him Happy New Year." And my dad looked over at me, and I don't know if you've ever seen like those stalker movies where like the guy or the girl is super obsessed with somebody, and they give the expression of like I love you, and they don't know you. Like my dad was very infatuated with me, and when he looked at me, I realized that he was like in love with me from a like a romantic standpoint, and he didn't see me as his daughter. And I realized that day at church, and I knew from when I was 2023, well, not 2023, I was 23, and to 2024 of meeting my husband, that I needed to go because he was obsessed with me, and it was creepy, and I was scared. And then when my husband and I met, my dad it became worse. He started trying to exert more control over me, and my mom was being more codependent and locking me out of the house the more time I spent with my now husband. And like they took my house key, they were locking me in and out of the house. There were some nights that I would try to come home and they would lock me out, or they would tell me I can't come back that night, or they would they would be like, you need to stay here, and if you're not going to stay here, you can't sleep here. And then they also told other people that I didn't live there anymore, and I didn't have anywhere to go. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? And then it got to a point where I was living in my husband's car because it was safer, and that's how I ended up homeless from like 2020 to 2025. And yeah, that's just how it started. And I just want to talk about it. So God bless you, God keep you.